Dead by Daylight Creation Reviews. Quickly before we get into this, um, due to well, numerous copyrights and etc., the Friday Night Funkin', the Clone Hero, well, essentially anything that includes music or has to deal with music or is in constant work. All of those series are unfortunately going to have to be canceled. As I showed in one of the streams I did to you recently when I went in, and then I went back through and searched everything, I have an insurmountable amount of copyright strikes on a lot of videos that I've done, from 2-second music clips being played to any songs in Friday Night Funkin' being played to essentially anything that involves any type of music at all. Then, because the Friday Night Funkin' triggered this copyright strike type thing, or one of the games, probably Clone Hero started the process. Clone Hero triggered, which blew out my Friday Night Funkin' videos, which then went all the way back and hit my Polybridge videos with copyright strikes that didn't have them previously, and created just this tidal wave. So any video on my channel that has any type of association to any type of video now has a copyright strike on it. Or not a strike, just a copyright notice on it. So I'm heavily annoyed, and I'm not going to go through 300 videos and reprocess them, removing out where the music is played. So yeah, that's annoying. It's a good thing I'm not doing this for any monetary gain and just as a personal archive, huh? The Maple Story music didn't get any copyright, so at least I'm happy there. I can still run that. That game's still cool. But any other music I used anywhere else blew my channel out. Hello, Galanonim. So that's just a little thing that I would like to discuss on why I'm canceling essentially every series ever in the world that involves any type of music. Music no longer exists on this channel because I have notices upon notices upon notices. So there you go. Dead by Daylight Creation Reviews. I am changing things up a little bit. Generally, these reviews consist on me going into mostly mediocre creations, or even below that, saying the same things over and over and over, and then moving on to the next thing. I'll talk about it. Sometimes I'll give suggestions on things can be better, etc., etc. The new way I'm going to do things is going to be based off the creator themselves. If the creator doesn't put a lot of time into their concepts, I'm not going to give them a lot of time. I'm just going to go over their concept and continue to move on. If it's a well thought out, medium concept, like the super OP ones that I generally do, but has a little bit of something behind it, I'll spend a decent amount of time on it. Going through saying, hey, this needs to be tweaked, that needs to be tweaked, etc., etc. And then the ones that actually take the time to push out good work, I'm going to give them the majority of my time to ensure that they can continue on, with the creations that they're doing. So these streams are going to be probably about cut in half. Instead of, 3-hour streams, they probably won't be over an hour and a half unless a banger comes out, you know what I'm saying? But I have an intent on cutting a lot of these reviews short because I mean, everybody knows what I'm gonna say before I say it because it's the same mistakes over and over. You don't need me anymore, essentially, to go over reviews and things because you already know what to look for, you already know the syllabus, you already know what's going on. Only thing that I need to do is add in new things that people aren't really picking up on and helping the creators that are actually trying to succeed in this form. Rescoping things. All of these are from the past. Dying Light Trader. Still wish they would take that down, but it is what it is. Blair Witch. I think that's what I was starting on today, or did I check this out yesterday? I don't know. Hopefully you've been doing pretty good, Galanonim. Extremely short. Movement speed 4.6, tear radius 20 meters. This needs to be pulled closer together. Power, agony. Apparently there's an agony 1, 2, and 3, and it works as a reverse stalking. Anytime a survivor looks direct at a killer for a total of 3 seconds, why are you 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds? Why are you trying to tier your base power? And why is it so low? There should be a buildable bar if it's reverse stalking. Stalking takes a long amount of time. Reverse stalking should take about half as long since they have to look at you. The rest of this stuff is just stealing status effects of other killers. So there's really no need to even go over this. Perk-wise, Nameless Fear. Hex activates when any survivor makes a rescue from the hook. Specifically on rescue, so this doesn't activate on deliverance or regular hook escapes. Until Hex is on, all not hook survivors suffer oblivious and blindness status effects. So when the hex isn't activated, the hex is supposed to be applying some sort of effect. This needs to be revisited, whether it's reworking of words or something like that. But oblivious and blindness effects on survivors for 45 seconds when somebody rescues somebody else from the hook is pointless because the other survivors are already going to be on generators. So the blindness is pointless in that regard. The survivor that rescues the other survivor are going to spend the first 16 seconds of that healing each other, and then they're going to run off into the sunset and work on whatever generator they can find. They don't need any type of blindness or aura reading or anything like that. Now, giving the blindness effect after the survivor gets hooked is different. Join for a moment. I wanted to tell you this week I won't be able to join your streams, most likely, since I have got a lot of work and stuff to deal with. Me too, actually, this week. I have a lot of meetings and things to go on with, which is partially one of the reasons. Plus, I've been sick, why I haven't been doing these long, drawn-out streams, and I'm kind of cutting them short. So, I got things to deal with too. Specifically tomorrow, I won't even be on. So, I understand, brother. I understand. Stay safe out there. And try to, take care of yourself as best you can. That's all you can really ask is for somebody to do their best, and I wish you luck. So after hooking, the blindness status effect really has no type of merit for survivors. On hook, it can, because there's lots of things like kindred, etc., that you could potentially try and block. The oblivious status effect, I think this person just threw the oblivious on like everybody else does, just to try to make their perk have some sort of extra effects. Now, this is one of the rare situations while giving the oblivious status effect to other survivors makes sense, because it tries and reward the killer to not camp and to actually go after other survivors. Obviously, you'll want to set this particular oblivious to trigger at the distant survivors, not the ones that are at the hook. So it doesn't, almost like barbecue and chili, where it only affects distant people. International Working Week, I see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is January. It's blown into tax seasons, things like that. Businesses are really starting to get back into the nitty gritty and all of that. It's cold outside, so mental health problems are through the roof, and yeah, work's starting back up. Yes, sir. It's starting back up. That's all right though. But yeah, blindness and the oblivious status effect, both of them here. You need to set this on like a almost barbecue and chili activation, to where you're not affecting the survivors who are getting unhooked. You're affecting the survivors that are at generators, so they don't know what's going on. Apparently, any effect relying on terror radius will be active, will be applied anyway. That, my friend, is not true. You cannot just add a clause into your perk and say, oh, well, any type of perks and anything that still use terror radius as a thing still work with my perk. And, like, no, that don't work, friend. Remove that line. There's no way to allow terror radius perks to work if it specifically relies on terror radius. So survivors, if you have any terror radius perks or based perks, unfortunately, they are deactivated for 45 seconds. Killer wise, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have your terror radius. It's just not going to be applied to that particular survivor. They're not going to be able to fill it, but you still have it. Sixth Sense, survivors stay for at least 5 seconds in your terror radius or revealed for 3 seconds. Obviously, no. Does not activate if killer is within 20 meters from hook survivor. No, 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 no. Just drop Sixth Sense and come up with something else. You're going the problem, I guess I should go over this. The problem you're going to have with Sixth Sense is you're going to have useless activations. And having a cooldown of 30 seconds, you generally just have this kind of useless radar ping that you have until you get into a chase. Once you get in the chase every 30 seconds, and if that survivor does manage to lose you towards the end of that 30 seconds, you're just going to ping them again and continue to chase them. The whole point of the game is to play cat and mouse, not walk into an area and then find said survivor. If you do want that experience, play Doctor or run Whispers or something. Whispers will get you in the ballpark. which this is kind of encroaching on. But whispers will get you in the ballpark of a survivor, and then the doctor will give you the location, albeit temporarily, but will give you a basic location of where that survivor is. And it's not going to be a 3-second aura reveal that you get every 30 seconds. It's not a very strong perk, and it's going to plop off when you don't need it. Every time you walk to a generator, you're going to be pinging survivors. Anytime you're walking around the map, you're going to be pinging survivors. If you're running a killer like Doctor that has a huge tear radius, or Legion that has map-wide tear radius, or anything that has a 32-meter radius, as you're walking through areas, you're just going to be randomly pinging survivors. That's going to be useless for the most part, because you're going to have your, your ideas of where to run and things like that, but it's also going to be extremely OP, because when it comes down to 3-gen situations, or if you just stand in the middle of the map, you should probably be able to pick up a lot of pings, especially if you're playing like Midwich or Gideon. You literally always know the location of a survivor every 30 seconds. It takes apart the fun cat and mouse aspect of the game for the survivors. The sneaky ones that play that strat to try to get around you and all of that. You're ruining the game. Get out when you hook the obsession. Their aura is not revealed to any survivor farther away than 16 meters, and don't receive any hook notifications. Well, as soon as you down the survivors are going to know the general area that person is in. 2, there's already a perk that's similar to that. It's that knockout perk. When you first down somebody, you can't see where they are unless you're close to them. The only thing you're adding to this is you're getting rid of hook notifications and everything else, and giving blindness status effect, which I don't know why the particular survivor on the hook would even need to have to deal with the 15 seconds of blindness status effect. It should be the other way around. Because if you're trying to counter survive with friends, they're literally just going to tell their friends, hey, I'm over on this side of the map. I'm hooked by Kill Shack. Come get me. And it's not going to matter. Then you have an obsession transfer perk on top of that. So you've taken different parts of different perks in the game, you've glued them together in a Frankenstein fashion, and now you have just one unnecessary perk. Also, let me just go on back. New killer, the Blair Witch. You put a paragraph worth of stuff here, and then you threw out perks. This is not a new killer. This is like a rough draft. It's a nice rough draft, I suppose. Or a nice concept that somebody just wrote down on a notepad when it just popped into their brain. I don't think it should have been brought to the server, but to each their own. Maybe somebody will pick that up. The Draconic and Den Mother. Is this the one? I might as well just look it through. I don't think this is the one that I looked at before. No, it was the Brood Mother, not the Den Mother. So this is new. Okay. Let's see. Move speed is 110%, which is 4.4 meters per second. I'm gonna assume it's a 24-meter tear radius. Actually, if they don't put this down, I'm gonna assume that it's trapper stats. It's gonna be a tall killer, movement speed 4.4, tear radius 32 meters per second. If it's not put through, I'm going to be like a computer and just set it to default. Hatches, wyvern hatchlings replace all crow spawns within the map, but only 75% as many of these wyvern hatchings spawn overall. When alerted by a survivor, their cry can be heard twice the distance of a normal crow's call. Crow calls are extremely loud by base. People just don't pay attention to them. So, you've given me no information except for crows are replaced with eggs, and eggs are loud. Problem: crows can spawn on generators and around generators. Draconic Killer. Damn, now I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. I've played Dungeons and Dragons like once. I've watched it more than I've played it, though. I can't help but make a funny character sheet where people are always like, we gotta be serious. We're the, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to take the game seriously. It's a game, Come on, man. Let me make my character. And if my character dies, so be it. I'll just be around to chill. And I make my character sheet kind of like a joke. I mean, it has usability like stealth and things like that, but kind of like Mimi. Like his special power is he's able to convince anybody to do anything. So, which gives him like a +10 to every roll that he rolls. So in order to get, the critical success, he only has to roll a 10. And I would have something like that, put all of my skills into this guy that can convince anybody to do anything. And people are like, you can't do that. That's too OP. And I'm like, there's a game master to limit your actions for a reason. Some people, like my wittiness and change of things, super spongy guy that if he takes damage, he dies, aka the game master can kill me off if I'm becoming a nuisance. But strong enough to where, if a monster's about to slice, you can just put up your hands and be like, hang on, before you do that, what about this? And you can convince the monster just not to attack you. Character's name was the Observer. He walks around observing how things are, and if situations are not going the way of the heroes, he can intervene. Is essentially the type of character that I made that one time I played. So if somebody runs in by themselves in a room and they're surrounded by a shit ton of enemies, I can walk in and kind of help them out a little bit and bring their life to the cutting table and make, deals. You take 5 of his health, or you take 2 of his health, or depending on how many enemies, and then I get to carry my hero out of the room and we reset back base meal or piecemeal. Things like that. Oh, yeah. When you have to balance fun and seriousness. Yeah. By the way, my last time on D&D, I cosplayed as an arrogant gnome. It was a hell of a amount of time. Exactly. Just having all of these different, unique roles. That's the type of experience that I'm in for. But I always end up with hard asses that are like, no, you're gonna do this. And then when you're making your character sheet, they want to sit over your shoulder and be like, well, since you're I got what you meant. They're like, since you're this type of build, you need to put your spec your points into this, and then put your points into this, and you need agility and dexterity, and you need to be stealthy, and you need to have these points here and there. And I'm like, bro, back off me. I can make my own damn character. Like, I know how to play the game. I know what the shit means. So let me do me. And they're just way too serious about builds. That's why I stopped playing Skyrim together. Is, well, the whole point of playing Skyrim together is you could play Skyrim with different people. And they wanted to all role play. And everybody, it's like Log Horizon type shit if you watch that anime, where everybody has, a specific role. The guy that has the swords, that's the berserker, he runs in literally just pressing R1 over and over. And he's expecting me, as the battle man, should just sit there and spam heal spells on him all the time. So he doesn't have to worry about dying. And I'm just like, this is not fun because you're way too far into role playing. Like, I am not a healer, I am a battle mage or an arcane mage. I say battle mage because I like to use a sword and spells, which makes the battle part of the battle mage. And they wanted me to be a healer. Do you know healing spells? You need to learn healing spells, man. Go over there and read these books. Buy these books. Waste your money and equipment on all of this so you can assist us. No, you don't need a sword, man. Find like a staff or something you can hold. And just keep casting the healing spell on me as I take on every enemy in this dungeon. While I have all the fun fighting, you just sit there and press the healing magic on me over and over. And I was like, nah. He walked in like an idiot. He got cut up. He died. And then the rest of us went on and went on with our business. So, yeah. He came back asking why he wasn't healed and all of that. We said, you're no longer part of our party, and we went on. And we all had a blast. Somebody said nice to me. I replied with, I wish I could say the same. Yeah, it's the same when they want to limit your fun. Exactly. I found some chill dudes that all of us just run in, blow shit up, and all kill each other. Or not kill each other, but all die because we're doing funny things. But it's fun time at the end. And then you got serious people. And it's Skyrim. Everybody's beat Skyrim so many times. Why are you so interested in beating Skyrim again for the 1000th time? Is what gets me. We've all beat it. We all know where everything is. We've all, broken into the system to find all the secrets and all of that. Why are you so focused on beating the game again? Why do you have this renewed vigor? Because I guess I know why, because it's like that child thing. When you're a child, you're like, hey mom, come watch me play games, watch me do this, look how good I am. And then the mom's like, no. Why would I stand there and watch you play? And it's that kind of things. They just ain't matured out of that phase yet. um Back to this. Again, you can't replace all crows with wyvern spawns. There's going to be limits to where they place because you don't want them by generators constantly screaming, etc., etc. Never mind. Next paragraph. Will spawn sleeping in a nest on each generator. While working on a generator, it has a chance to wake up during certain actions. 15% chance after getting good skill check, 25% chance after getting great skill check, 75% chance after missing skill check, 100% chance after finished generator. That is completely ass backwards. I want to write my story, but 8 months has passed and I still haven't finished. I have to focus on that eventually. Got 12 pages at least. Boy, if you're gonna write yourself your own story, the only thing I have to tell you is play with people that you trust, and will actually stick to your goddamn story. We had a guy, well, I would say we had a guy because I only played the shit once. But times that I've watched and had shown an interest in people playing everything. Because when it comes to that shit, I'd rather watch people because people get upset when I start goofing around and doing actions that aren't part of the script. And that's what happened at this particular table. Because anybody that goes to an actual event, there's going to be lots of tables set up with different game masters, and you can just go from table to table, spectating, their journey and things like that. And there was a table that I got to. This guy had wrote his own story and everything else, and wrote, this beautiful ass castle and dungeon. He wrote the forests and the path going there and all of that. Tells a beautiful story, and then the fuckers at the table completely deviates from his story. Straight up says that, because what it is at the beginning, there was this, it was either an obelisk or a crystal. The obelisk says crystal was the thing they're supposed to communicate with at the end of the game to summon the final boss. So they weren't supposed to fuck with the obelisk, but it was in an area that as they were going in from the start to the castle, they passed it. So, to keep it fresh in their mind, very good storytelling. You show them the end at the beginning. One of these dumbasses decided they wanted to go up to it and examine it, touch with it, fool with it, things like that. Game Master Pseudo kept warning them over and over and over, It has ominous dark energy from it. You step closer, your body shakes. The presence is overwhelming. It makes you shiver, things like that. You reach out to touch it. You feel it, your hand go numb. Fear courses through your body, things like that. And kept telling his story to essentially say, back the fuck off of it. You don't want to deal with it yet. Guy says, I want to try breaking it. Rolls a critical success. Breaks it. Boss comes out, slaughters every single one of them. End of story. Fastest table ever. They're pissed because, well, to get that particular game master and to play his story and all of that costed them money. But they wanted to be dumbasses about it, and they were trying to demand a refund, and he said, no, you paid for a story. I tried to warn you idiots that stay away from the stone. You broke the stone anyway. You summoned the final boss with no gear. You got clapped, essentially. Thank you for playing. And then called for the next people to come to the table. Is anybody that's just interested and not actually, participating can walk around and spectate and whatever. The people that are part of the story to keep them from being exposed to said story, they ooh, have this whole system of an area where all of this takes place. The people that are participating cannot go into this area, so they can't hear the story or anything like that. I mean, they can sit up and, there's a viewing area where they can look down and try to see what they can see, but for the most part, participants are cordoned off on a particular portion. And as the stories conclude, they're called up and they come all the way in. They all sit down and, they go on their different adventures. It was a very good setup at this convention that I went to. Would tell you where, but that would give you a location on where I particularly live, so can't actually tell you. Was it a convention though? Very fun time, everything like that, and I thought it was funny because their entire experience lasted all of about 10, maybe 15 minutes, while everybody else's lasted hours, and that shit was expensive to get these game masters if it was their unique story versus, you had your generic Dungeon and Dragon setups. I guess they have pre-wrote scripts or something, or pre-write books or stories or something already included with the game or something. You could play cheap and just go through that. Or you could do a customized story and pay a little bit extra. I don't know that much into Dungeon and Dragon. I just know how to play the game and how the story and all of that unfolds, enough to play the game. I don't know what the setup looks like. I've never game mastered, so I don't know. I'm assuming it comes with its own book or stories and all of that. Mm. Got nobody to play right now. Wanted to make one for my friends, but it's hellish work. Gonna get to it finally, but they are waiting 8 months already. People knows that shit takes time. Even when you have time to sit down and do it, they generally take a good like a month to get like a solid story out. That's if you're experienced in writing stories. Anyway, back to this. Dragon spawning and waking up. Why would you have more of a chance on these dragons to wake up while hitting great skill checks? Great skill checks means you are so slick and so smooth in your generator repairs that you're actually faster at what you're getting done, smoother at what you're getting done, and it means no problems have happened. Getting a great skill check should have a 0% chance of said dragon waking up. 0. Good skill checks should have anywhere from 15 to 20%, maybe a little bit more, depending on what you're going to have these dragons do. And then missing a skill check, you would assume that it was just going to be a 100% thing because the entire fucking generator blows up so hard that the survivors close their face and kind of get pushed back a little bit. The generator is like, and blows up and all of that. You would figure whatever the hell's sleeping on top of it would definitely wake up. It's so loud and so boombastic that the killer from across the map can hear that shit going on. So why wouldn't it wake up on missed skill checks? Like how hard of a heavy sleeper is that? It wakes up 100% after healing the generator or after fixing the generator. Which you can say that should be the 50% of it waking up and doing whatever it does, but a 75% missing after the generator explodes? I don't think so, Chief. It don't make sense. If the hatchling is woken up through a good or great skill check, you must stop repairing the generator and lull the dragon back to sleep with a series of 3 skill checks. If you miss these, the dragons will cry out and bite you, inflicting you with bleeding and creating a noise notification. Hemorrhage, I think is what you're talking about. Unless you're going to specify what bleeding is, which you do not. Hemorrhage, which means you're going to be taken an injured state. And it's a deep wound status effect, is what this is. Because if it says you do not mend yourself from bleeding, you'll be put into an injured state. Not gonna lie, crows changed into wyvern hatchings would look pretty cool. I'm all for removing the crows that are pointless and putting something in that makes sense. But I'm not for putting them on top of generators where they're completely unavoidable. It's as soon as you open or finish a generator, you have to immediately hit 3 skill checks. And if you miss these 3 skill checks, this dragon's going to bite you. The only way to make this a thing is to keep survivors stuck in an animation. So instead of waking up dragon and then just running away and having the dragon scream or something like that, or take a swing towards you that you can dodge, you're just stuck there. So if you finish the generator and the killer's anywhere nearby, you're going to be stuck dealing with the hatchlings And since you're in an animation, the killer can just walk over and just pick your ass up and send you. Locking survivors into animations is not a very good idea, especially when it's a generator or something like that, to where the killer is most likely going to come through. Now, if it's on the side of the map or something like that, and you step on him or something, and he traps you, and you have to go through all of this rigmarole, that is on you because you stepped on it. Or if you got nearby and it clipped on to you or something. That's a different story. But I mean, crouching, obviously, as you're crouching through where the crows and everything is, they shouldn't be affected by you. And if you're being chased by the den mother, you obviously shouldn't be able to be affected by them. Because, well, mama's chasing, and generally, when mama chases, the children get the fuck out of the way and let mama hang on or take care of everything. But yeah, having the wire runs and all of that be where the crows are when crows really don't have that much of a value. Which I mean is fun. There are perks to give base, zero neutral things like crows some value, but that's one of the things that's never been changed in the game and would be nice to see. um, so these things give you the deep wound status effect if you fail the skill checks. If the dragging hatchling is alerted through a failed skill check, it will wake up in the nest and guard the generator for 45 seconds, screeching and creating a loud noise whenever somebody attempts to repair it before falling asleep again. If it is alerted while guarding, 15 seconds are added to the time before it will fall asleep again. So you can just keep working on a generator. So if the dragon is woken up by skill check, you have to interact with this dragon and do a whole bunch of different things. If the dragon is alerted through a failed skill check, you can just continue working on the generator. The dragon's just going to be loud for the next 45 seconds. Again, ain't that kind of backwards? Where if they're woken up through a good skill check, because great shouldn't do anything. If they're woken up through a good skill check, shouldn't it just be a noise notification? And then if you wake them up during a failed skill check, that the dragon grabs onto you or the hatchling grabs onto you or something and makes you do these skill checks to calm it and put it back to sleep. In that case, it would be punishment for, failing a skill check. Obviously, if you want your dragons to take over that, you're not going to be able to notify the killer of a failed skill check via generator explosion. It will have to be only via dragon. So you are getting rid of the gen notification sound and replacing it with dragons or wyverns, whichever one you prefer. Bum, 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 bum. If the dragon hatchling is woke up by the generator being complete, it will choose any survivor who completed the generator at random to perch itself on and wrap its tail around. The survivor will suffer from the incapacit status effect and the 3% hindered status effect for 60 seconds or until injured, at which the dragon will screech with a noise notification and fly away. You realize that anytime you use something as strong as the hindered status effect, it's generally just for a couple of seconds. not 60 whole seconds. So what this is doing is completing a generator, and you have a, what was it? Was 100% chance? Yeah, an 100% chance. So every time a survivor completes a generator, they are going to not be able to do any of the main actions of the game via the incapacitated status effect, and they're not going to be able to move full speed for 60 seconds. There is no way to get this dragon off of your head or anything like that except for wait it out or take damage. So in essence, this is the ultimate gen stall perk. So you can just chase survivors nitty gritty, and if also for like the minimum amount of time that all 4 survivors can complete 5 generators would be 80 seconds. Then they would have to wait another 60 seconds. And then they would have to wait another. Well, if they all gangbang the last generator, it'd be. Well, you can't. Well, let's just say all 4 could go on there. It'd be 28 seconds on top of that. After that 60 seconds. And that's if all 4 survivors are left uncontested. Obviously, they're not going to all work on separate generators and then gangbang the last generator. You're going to have either 2 or 3 generators pop. Those survivors that just completed the generators ain't going to be able to do anything. And that's where one of the problems actually comes into mind. Let me give you an example that I guarantee nobody's thought of to this moment, and this is why I am, it's why I'm here, baby. 3 survivors are working on gens. 1 survivor is on their second hook. You know, this is their death hook. Survivor gets thrown on death hook. 60-second timer. All the other survivors that are working on, you know, let's say 2 generators, 2 are on 1 generator and 1's on the other generator. They complete their generators. 60 seconds, they can't even do half of the actions needed to actually go and save that particular survivor. Because not only are they slowed, they're also incapacitated, so they can't do basic things. They run across a, let me pop this up on screen. Dbd status effects. Let me just show you the situation I'm trying to set up for you. There. While you are in the incapacitated status effect, you cannot repair generators. You cannot sabotage hooks. You cannot use items. You cannot interact with any other survivors, and you cannot cleanse totems. So, at the end of a game, if no ad is a factor or anything like that, you're kinda unable to do anything after you've completed that last generator, even if you do find it. Can't use any of your items, you can't sabotage hook, you can't repair generators during the game. However, you can still vault windows and things like that, but you're going to be slower, 3% slower in your vaults. So if it's not a running vault, you're going to be mad trouble. You can drop pallets, leave through the exit gates, leave through hatches, open exit gates. You can enter/exit lockers, etc., etc. However, you can't pull that survivor off of that particular hook because you can't interact with other survivors. What is the effect called when you can't escape the map, like in pin, haste, case, or twin? I have no idea. I'd assume it'd have to do with like binding or something like that. Is there even an effect that actually I type in exit and I gotta move chat. Okay. How about unable? I don't think there's a status effect incorporated to that that keeps you from leaving. Yeah. Sabotage. No, there are no status effects like that. I think it's just implemented into the base code that prevents you from leaving match. Possibly. I know you get the incapacitated status effect from a lot of things, like leaving. Well, there you go, leaving through the exit gates. So I said I know they give you the incapacitated status effect. No, wait, that's not inhibited. Um, but I don't know. Well, I now know that it doesn't do anything towards exit gate leaving. Let's try exit gate. No. Yeah, there's no statuses. I think it's just kind of put into the game to stop you from leaving it. There's nothing specific. Definitely should be. I will agree with you 100% there. There should definitely be a status effect that lets you know that, hey, you can't leave trial. However, it is kind of like an ace in the hole that a killer has that can use on a survivor. It kind of gets you with that aha, gotcha moment at the end of a trial. So even though I would like to know when I can leave a trial and when I can't, it's still kind of a eh. Because if they do invent it, they will have to put it on perks like Blood Warden and things like that. So, oh, meh. I'd love it if they did, but, imagine if you could escape with Victor. That would be hilarious. It's like, nah, little brother, you're coming with me now. But honestly, in some of the cases, it doesn't make sense because the entity blocks the particular killer from going out of the trial, not the survivor. And Victor can go into, I guess, what you call a mist form and then go back to the twin. So you running out of the map with Victor on you shouldn't even inhibit you. He should just dematerialize and go back to the other twin. What's her name? Charlotte. Should go back to Charlotte. But that would be hilarious, kidnapping Victor. Um, so yeah, that 60 seconds that you have in a timer, any survivor that's on the hook when that's initiated on another survivor, or the other survivors are going to die. That person can no longer go for an unhook or anything like that. Another reason why this status is way too long. See, a Drake hatching will spawn at the end of the trial. What is the end of the trial? When the exit gates are powered, I'm going to assume. Or maybe when the exit gates are open. I don't know. This Drake will actively hunt survivors walking around the map and lunging at them if they get near enough. If a survivor's in a healthy state, they will get the deep wound status effect and mend themselves. Dying state, blah. Keen sense of trail follows blood. Base movement speed of 50%, so 2 meters per second. And a 75% 3 meters per second if they smell blood. Not going very heavily over this because this is not a very good idea, spawning something in at the end of the game. It just don't make sense. Special ability Dragon's Blood. Galanonim. Somebody's already done stolen your immolation idea. Already. Let's see what they do with it. The Draconic has the innate ability to immolate herself. This ability functions off 120-second cooldown and starts on cooldown at the beginning of the trial. Upon activation, both her hand and feet claws begin burning, causing her to leave ground behind her sins as she walks. No need to do all of that. Dead by Daylight limits all of these effects and things that other killer has for a reason. You need to think about game compression. Dead by Daylight takes up a lot of memory, and the more things that you want to add in is going to make the game get bigger. Bigger means longer load times, longer download times, longer PTB to regular game download times. Flames pour out the sides of her mouth, wings on fire. Tell me what the ability does. Quit describing what it looks like. Tell me what it does. The Draconic will be immolated for 40 seconds. While immolated, she gains 125% movement speed. Now, when you say gains, I'm assuming that's additive, not that she goes from 115 to 125. Gains means addition, additive. So she goes from 115 to 100 or 240%, which is ridiculous. Greatly increases drop speed, but has greater tear radius. Well, I'm assuming it's 32 meters because you never told me. At least I don't think they told me. I think this is the one where they didn't tell me. Yes? Yes. So, I'm going to assume 32. It's going to be higher than 32. It'd be nice if they put a comet or something. I know, right? Absolutely stolen. Also, what dragon do you know that catches themselves on fire? I mean, well, no, I don't even think in Dark Souls they really catch themselves on fire. They'll have like an ore or something. But what kind of dragon's like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna catch myself on fire now and walk around like that? Essentially, this burn destroys breakable objects, damage generators, etc., etc. You do not need this immolation power on your dragon. When you activate Dragon's Blood, all of your draconic kin will roar out across the map and notify the survivors. Well, if a survivor's working on a generator and this kin wakes up and roars, shouldn't that affect the survivor? So that ain't making sense. Is that going to be a trigger? I mean, what's going on there? This obviously ain't necessary. You have essentially a minion. You have the Den Mother whose kin essentially goes out and does whatever needs to happen for her. Your movement speed's only 110, so that's on you to come up with that extra 0.2 meters per second, so you're moving at 4.4. Actually, no, it's 4.4. Yeah, it's 4.4. So you're the one that cuts your base speed. So everything that you do is going to depend upon your minions and survivors working on generators. Besides that, you are just a slower than average regular killer, mouse one killer. That's it. I mean, if you want to go through and add the immolation and all of that, you're definitely going to have to decrease this movement speed advantage, vault speed, in all of this, because increasing the tear radius and including an extra 125% speed is ridiculous. Perk wise, and I spent a lot more time than I thought I was on this particular, but I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time on the first one, so why not? This is a little bit more intricate than the first one. Hex Burning Embers. Whenever a survivor attempts to dismantle any hex totem of yours, they are presented with a difficult skill check upon 50% completion. If it's failed, they must restart the process. Each time the skill check is failed, it will get slightly easier. The Burning Embers hex itself, while active, cause survivors to cleanse or bless 25% slower. Why does everybody have to stack all of these different effects on something? Yeah, you're going to do things 25% slower. Oh, and by the way, I'm just going to add in this random skill check that ruins your life if you don't get it. If you're going to have two different things, balance them two to be together. You know? Don't have a 50% difficult skill check and then a 25% rate at which you're going to do it slower. The skill check should knock that rate down to about 10% slower. You're looking at what, 15, 16 seconds? Nah, it's like 14 seconds. And then it's like 28 if it's a hex totem. So roundabouts 14 seconds already. 25% would add another fourth to that. So I'm going to say it's like 3.5 seconds, which would take you up to 17.5 seconds. Essentially around about the time it takes to heal a survivor. This might not mean much to you, but when it comes to breaking hex totems that a killer is aware that somebody's going for, that time can mean everything in the world. Just like the new wiggle skill checks, decreasing the timer if you hit, for the most part, all great skill checks, decreasing that by a second can mean all the world. You definitely don't need to have a 25% slower than skill checks at 50% speed. Try and balance that to make that not as annoying. Difficult skill check, I wouldn't even include that because most survivors are just going to hit the difficult skill checks anyway. Also, the other problem you're going to have is that Huntress's Lullaby is a hex totem. Huntress's Lullaby protects this perk as it protects it. Then you can add Hex Undying and Devour Hope or Haunted Grounds or anything like that. And get a Hellacious Hex build. Because even if they find this Hex first, Undying's going to protect it. And if they don't, you know, there's other chances of hitting different things. Running that with Huntress's Lullaby makes this a pain. And you don't need to have the added effects. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a 50% completion skill check, because it's only difficult. Again, like I said, it's only for like a Huntress's Lullaby stack that it's ever going to really work on people unless they lag or something stupid. But making it at 50% completion, 7 seconds or so, plus whatever, failing it and having to do an additional 7 seconds on top of that's bullshit when they're doing it 25% slower. Most survivors will hit difficult skill checks. Meanwhile, my teammates 3 fails in a row, then leaves the generator. It's funny how that works, right? Oh my god, baby survivors kill me. Boom, 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 and then they run away, and you're just still sitting there working like, yep, this is my life now. What am I up to? 120 seconds now on this generator? And I love it when they're running spine chill and you can literally see that the killer's chasing somebody, but their spine chill activates and they take off running. And I'm like, where are you going? You can literally see that the killer isn't involved in this. Get back on the generator. And then they'll run away. And then, like 10 to 20 seconds, they'll come back and work on the generator again. And then they'll do another loop, and the other guy will run away again. And then he'll come back again and eventually stay, but the generator's almost done at that point. And you get up, and I just shake my head at them. And I just continue on. I got a flashlight. I'll flashlight them as they try to run. Like, hey, bitch, get your ass back here. When your spine chill activates and you are using your speed boost, but then you notice stalking players. Oh no. I don't know. I don't use spine chill, and I have a very high record of spotting Michael Myers that actually are peeping in at me. I've even spotted ones that are like looking through, like cracks in the windows and shit like that. I've spotted those as well. It just comes with knowledge, what side of the generator you need to be on, just in case it is a stealth killer at the beginning. And after you know it's Michael Myers, don't sit on the generator that's open, that can be seen, and swivel your camera. I have no issues generally spotting Michael Myers or Ghostface or anything like that, except for the bullshit that happened last time I played with Macho. I spawned with a Ghostface looking at me. Literally, by the time my camera got done doing the 360 thing and I was able to move, I was already exposed and that ghost face was running at me, downing me. And I was like, what the fuck actually just happened? Like, I wasn't even loaded into the game yet, and this dude's running at me and I'm exposed. And I was like, Macho, what the fuck? And he's like, well, you didn't last long. I was like, I didn't even load in, bro. I ain't even loaded in. And I was already exposed and getting chased and shit. I'm like, I ain't no chance in hell that game gave me. None. I was like, bro. And that was the one hook. Second time I got on the hook, the teammate was being chased by Ghostface because they went for an immediate unhook instead of using my hang time. Chased Ghostface over to me. He stood back, watched, instead of picking her up and getting another hook. Nah, he stood by and watched her pick me up off the hook. And then he just knocked my ass back down as I tried to run away in dead hard. He's like, nice dead hard, bitch. And knocked me back down, hooked me. Finally got off the hook the third time. I ran around for a little bit, went to the whole opposite side of the map, and I was hiding. And this teammate that was being chased by Ghostface somehow on God's green earth chased that motherfucker all the way across the map and ended up where I was, where I took that last down because when he downed her, he ended up pinging my location because of the abilities and perks and shit he was running. And I was just like, really? I was literally just chilling on the outskirts of the map, and this happens to me. He stopped, looked, picked her ass up. I got starstruck, laid her ass back down, and at that moment in time, I knew that it was game over. I just stood there. I was like, fuck it, dude. You know what? Take it. Knocks me the fuck out, and it was like one of those dramatic, like, backflips ones, too. Knocks my ass out, picks me up, hooks me, and now I'm spectating. I mean, I didn't particularly mind it, although I was kind of baffled and annoyed that the teammate was the one that got me out of that situation. I didn't particularly mind it because I was a little bit laggy because we were playing US West and I'm a US Easter. So it was a little bit laggy. And I was having issues. But still, that's the type of bad luck that I have in Dead by Daylight. And that is why when I talk about perks like deliverance and things like that, and talk about the difference between solo queue and survive with friends, I talk about both sides. Something that might be good for survive with friendsers might not be good with solo queue because I've been through it. I've played solo queue where I've ran the killer most of the lobby and they've done all the generators. I eventually go down because they pop a generator and the killer has no ad or some bullshit. The killer hooks me. And then they all just open the exit gate and leave. Like, hey, thanks for your service, man. Have fun in hell. And they just all leave together, leaving me to die in the ether. And I'm just like, what kind of bullshit is that, guys? What kind of bullshit is that? Anyway, just some things that happened during the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of Dead by Daylight because I've been playing damn near since the game came out. You run into shit like that. Rare, but it happens. Mm. Also, Macho's bad luck. Anytime I play with Macho, in almost any game, we always get shit teammates. Every time. I don't understand it. It's like he hires these people and he's a secret millionaire and he's like, hey man, join in on me and fuck you over. Or join in on us and just be a terrible, terrible teammate type shit. He attracts them when we play together. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I went on an undefeated 5 game run by myself, played with Macho and died first on hook. I was like, how? How does these happen? Happens in Rocket League too. Happens in Siege. It happens in every game. When we play together, we just have that magnetic attraction for dumbasses. Um, boom, 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 boom. I already went over that. You know my thoughts. Scorched Ground. This hex will spawn in the map at the start of the trial. Another hex, huh? Once one gen is completed, once 2 gens are completed, and in an available hex totem, if this hex is not cleansed by the time all 5 gens are completed, Scorched Ground will activate and immediately start the in-game collapse upon completion of the final generator. So, this guy has the nerve to initiate a hex that starts the end game collapse if survivors complete all 5 generators without cleansing the totem. AKA, he can just run this hex and sit in front of it, and as soon as they finish said generator, the end game collapse starts. And if survivors get a bad exit gate spawn where the exit gates are right in sight of a particular killer, which if he's using the range killer, it's not going to matter because he can just keep ranging them. That is ridiculously OP. Yeah, blight perks, yeah. You got the Trickster's perk, I think that blocks the exit gate. You got Blood Warden, all kinds of other things that you can just eat up that time limit with. You have no ad. So this perk with no ad, with the Trickster's perk and Blood Warden, that's 30 seconds from the Trickster's perk. Blood Warden is 60 seconds, so that's 90 seconds right there, which gives them an additional 30 seconds to escape. The exit gate takes, let's see, how many of that 30 seconds? I don't remember how long exit gates take. I want to say like 15 seconds, but it's probably a lot more than that. Exit. I actually looked this up rather soon too. I don't remember the number I got. Exit gate opening time. Dbd. 20 seconds. There you go. I always say 15, it's always 20. I mean, it makes sense. 5 seconds a stage. Yeah, now that I think about it. So 20 of those 30 seconds are going to be eaten by the exit gates. So you have 10 seconds essentially to escape with that particular perk if you're running a exit gate build. And if you take out Blood Warden for anything that affects exit gate opening speeds, and you make that particular exit gate take anywhere near 30 seconds to open, it takes like anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds for the survivor to cross the threshold to just exit out of the map. There is a little bit of a hesitation between survivors. It does take survivors one at a time. So one survivor will be able to escape even if it comes down to the wire at the end of that, but three would be toast. But if you can extend that 20 seconds to 30 seconds, then it's impossible for survivors to escape. You would be building up your tokens to get that Trickster perk to full while protecting your Hex Totem. Once you get that to full, you're just going to chill. Once all 5 generators get done and your NOAD activates, all you gotta do is clap a survivor, wait until the exit gates get open, and then hook that survivor. So you'll just look at an exit gate. As a survivor jumps on it, count in your head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of that. As they get close to the end and they open said exit gate, you just lop that survivor on the hook to activate Blood Warden. And if they 99%ed, which I doubt they're going to, because that would be dumb. But if they do elect to 99% that, they're just adding more time. And if that exit gate stays 99%ed before the last 10 to 20 seconds, it's an easy win. Time to focus on this. Meh, work. See you next time. See you, Galanonim. You're welcome, as always. You are welcome. Dragon's Lair has to do something with the basement. There's already things that do with the basement, and basement hooks, things like that. Leave the basement alone, please. All of this already exists on a hook. Imperative operative. Dragon's Lair, no. What are we at, an hour and a half? All right, about an hour and a half. We'll see if I can find like a meme one to go through or a very short one. And then I'm getting off too. I'm hoping to cut everything down to about an hour and a half. um, this art. This is art again. This is the same art thing with the same dream background as he always uses. And he decided to input the role of the survivors instead of their name. For example, Dwight is nervous leader, so that is what he used. Nervous leader. Um, why is Dwight dead? I mean, I know it's supposed to be a dreamscape, but y'all just straight up killed Dwight. AI. Jesus. Did he click on the horror tag or something instead of the... It says dream. What the hell? So I think this is an adaptable AI, and since he's always searched, this particular person's always searched horror aspect things, I think it's remembering using either cookies or something else. It's remembering his respective searches and it's trying to tailor towards him as opposed to give you nervous leader and killing Dwight. I mean, I can see like the suit and the tie, and you can see the arms here and here, which go down to an abstract legging and all of that. But this face, though, it is two faces, or one really, really messed up face. And I don't understand where you get that from the term nervous leader. That's insane. Meg is energetic athlete. I see like a figure skater, like skating in a skating rink. Figure skater. The face is obviously there, the hair. Things are going back. Figure skater, maybe rollerblader. Could I guess see a cheerleader? I see a figure skater here though. She's got a little skirt on, the little, is it called like a tutu on? She's got the little thing back like that. She's kind of sitting on something even though her leg is separated from her body. That's what I see. Claudette, studious botanist. You could say studious, but I'm pretty sure it's studious. I mean, yeah, botanist, plants, woman, arm here, legs, middle body, face, hat, plants, books. I mean, you got what you asked for. Solitary survivalist must be. Oh, it's Jake. Yeah, guy in solitary. He seems to be walking through some sort of creek with a gun. Regular body here. This is everything that he's went through so far. He's got clothes and things, or maybe a flag could be clothes. Who knows? Could be meat hanging up. This could be the entrance to his little domicile, or this can just be a thing of rocks. And he's moving on. Naya, urban artist. Uh, you could have found a better tag and not used any type of Dead by Daylights things. You could have found a better tag for Naya. You're making her seem like a tag, like just a graffitier, as opposed to anything else. Even though she is kind of a punk, but yeah, you get a what is it? Not a carousel. What is this called? The thing that the artist is thanks an easel. No, the easel's the thing that you hold, right? No, that's just a palette. It's an easel, right? Where the canvas sits right here and then it holds the canvas. Or is the easel the thing you hold? I don't know. But there's that. There's the obvious artists doing their thing, and there's a person standing. You can make this a building. You can make this a wall and make this graffiti if you want to go off the NAS theme. These can be chairs. This can be, you know, table with art supplies on it. This could be like a sewing needle or something. This could be a table. These can be a lot of things. This can be what she's painting. This can be a guy. This can be what it's painting. That can be a face. That can be somebody's shirt. This can be his head, jacket, arms, legs, whatever. Laurie Strode, determined survivor. I mean, yeah, this would be her. And I don't know about the rest because this looks kind of urban. Yeah, I guess after a nuclear fallout or something, I don't know. Ace Visconti, lucky gambler, nowhere near. I can see how this can be a casino. Should I say misconstrued as a casino? What the hell is this? What is this? This is not a casino. I mean, it's like if they hadn't mixed in all of this green, like apocalyptic goo that they've been putting in every picture, it wouldn't have been as bad. Obviously, this right here is Ace. You got his legs to his jacket, to a little whatever hat that he's wearing where his face would be. And this is the facilities. You got like your 7-Eleven or gas station here. And the rest of this, is just kind of like the neighborhood and things like that, stacking up other buildings, other places to go. Truck stop in the background of the 7-Eleven. Walmart. Ooh, excuse me. Walmart in the distance. This almost looks like an airport and like a plane's taking off, and it's just giving you a snippet of a plane taking off. You like one of those pictures. Well, yeah, I'm over back. Old soldier. I mean, yeah, looks like a soldier holding a very limp noodle rifle. And yeah, he's just kind of chilling. Min, focused competitor. I mean, you could have called her a technician too. She has the perk, technician. Easily. Technician. That's all you need to put down. But focused competitor. You have somebody. That's an interesting way, because I was gonna say somebody like an announcer or something, watching, replays and looking out of a telescope and all of that. But this could be a streamer in his esports, chair, playing a particular game with the webcam on, the high-tech headphones, they got the stream docks and everything else posted up, multiple camera shots, everything else, esports situation. Interesting. Rugged scrapper, David King. Oh, this was Will. Why did I get David and Will mixed up? Probably because I always call him Bill for Unbreakable. William Bill Overbeck. But for that. David King, Rugged Scrapper. I mean, yes, this is more and looks like a scrap yard. But looks like a go goddamn boat is being scrapped here. So yeah. And Smith. Oh, we're going over everybody. Okay, I'm not gonna go into detail over anybody that's not a main character. Whitten Smith. Not bad. David Tapp. You can see him in his little uniform here. It's a very urban environment. Makes sense. Kate Denson. Hopeful Songbird. I was like, why is there a bird here? Makes sense. Adam Francis. That can be possibly somebody. I don't know what that is. Jeffrey Johansson. I don't know what he actually is. He's a quiet artist. Oh, he's the guy that came with the artist. Gotcha. Um, I guess that can technically be him in the middle here. Little statue with the little head and everything. My stream's gonna get clapped. Jane Romero. Influential celebrity. I mean, it looks like the hills where the celebrities live and things like that, or whatever that area is called. I think it's called the hills, but I don't know about influential. Ashley J. Williams, Lone Wolf. This does look like some shit out of Silent Hill, don't it? Everything's fucking red and dead and twisted and god dang. Nancy Wheeler, aspiring journalist. There she is. Steve Harrington. All you put was former jock. I was wondering what your description would be. Nothing of this picture equals former jock. At all. Nothing. This dude just standing there. Nothing. Unless you become mountain climber after you go through your jockhood. Football players beware. Yui Kimura. Hardened street racer. Unless you're gonna consider this as a car, it looks like ain't really a racer. Zarina. Plucky Doctarian. Documentarian. I don't know what you would necessarily mean either if I was an AI and you used those two words together. I understand why the AI's brain went brr. Cheryl Mason. Young veteran of terror. You know what? Cheryl was the name of the Silent Hill person. Ashley was the Resident Evil one, yeah? Fuck, I don't remember. Visionary architect, Felix. Yeah, this does look like an architect's wet dream. Just kind of a little bit abstract. But you know, the different buildings that look all nice and fancy, all flowing together. Elodie Rakoto, there better be a big booty. A cult investigator. That's exactly what you would kind of picture, well, I'd picture. And then cult investigator, how they look weird and things like that. Yoon Jin Lee. Self-interest music producer. That's supposed to be like a soundboard as part of a city and everything like that. You know, you got the background that's boom, 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 with the screens and all of that. Party Central. Could be a building and cars and all of that, but since it's music theme, I'm gonna say that's a soundboard. Leon S. Kennedy. Looks like a police officer. Jill Valentine. That looks like a special forces vehicle. What did you put for her? Founding member of STARS. Okay. Michaela Reed or Michaela Reed. Mystic. I guess this does kind of look mystic. But if we're talking about identifying characteristics, mystic is not really an identifying characteristic. Why not just put witch down? Jonah Vasquez, he's the one that came out with the artist. Mathematical mastermind. I'm just gonna say and move on. Guess those could be like books and abacuses and things like that thrown about. I don't know. Looking at all of this really fun art is kind of starting to give me a little bit of a headache. It extended it past an hour and a half. That means that I am done here. You see, I'm done. You're done here. You're going to get canceled. Anyway, thank you anybody for stopping by as always. Supplement your lifestyle. I won't be here tomorrow. Not in the morning, not this evening or anything like that. Like I said, everything else, or at the beginning, everything else has been 110% canceled due to copyright or any other type of other reasons associated with them. So if you're looking forward to me beating Tank Man and all of that, that is unfortunately not going to happen. Which means I probably won't even play Funky Friday or any type of Friday Night Funkin' here or ever. Clone Hero I will play occasionally on my own time. And yeah, it's sad, but you know, times change, things happen, and you can't always do what you want to do, you know? But anyway, also, I don't know who signed up for what, or what I clicked on, or what somebody else clicked on. All of these bots that always come flying through. If you are the person that somehow is doing this, and it's not just, you know, bots that are on everybody's videos, keep in mind that these open comments don't help me in any shape, form, or way. The bots do not count as views when they pop in, say their 2 cents, and then dip or do whatever they need to do. I don't get any view count, no anything from that. They are the equivalent of nothing. Their comments don't count for anything or any of that. I get a status report every single stream showing, you know, how many people have watched the stream and all of that other stuff. Despite what the YouTube statistics may show you, I don't get any credit for that. Nothing at the end of the day. It is all fixed. So, I mean, I appreciate anybody trying to give me extra views and all of that, but I don't necessarily want them. You know, this is my personal archive, and I just want to see it, you know, to see how I was in the past, see how good or bad I was doing, things like that. Something to look back on and just kind of smile at. When I do die, people can just pull my particular content, make some sort of collage or something out of it, or ode out of it, and then there you go. Everything is there. Either way, I'm out. I won't be on tomorrow. I got things to do. And throughout the week, you will see pieces or parts to where I should be streaming or something like that, and I will not be there. I do have busy times. I actually gonna be busy a day or two in the next week as well, but when I can get on and stream, I shall. And when I don't, you know, I'm busy. But I'm out.